your character will feel the strongest emotion to think something. They can't help but think it. Hey, hey, how you doing? Wow, this is amazing. Last week, I was making videos, and I was teasing by the fourth video, I would have this big announcement or something, okay? This week, I'm on the fourth video, and I've already made the big announcement. We're writing a book this week. This is the fourth chapter out of 20. Isn't that cool? You can write a book in a week. What's your problem? What's your problem? Why can't you write a book in a week like I do and all my students will start doing? The reason you can't is because you're fighting up against this problem. That there is no story pattern. There is a story pattern. I've got this pattern. I can make a book a week. What kind of bragging rights are those? If you told me I would be saying that when I started making these videos 3 months ago, when I got, any point along until even last week, if last week after I was making these videos, well, no. no. Last week I would have believed you. The week before, if you said, hey, next week you're going to be making 5 4-part videos next week, I would be like, how the hell would I do that? I work improvisationally. And so something that happens is because I talk levels 1 through 3, I forget that I'm like level 10. But and I say that with humility, because really I'm level 11. And once you see the upper levels, you'll be like, we're robots. So I'm robotically making these things. I guess I'm AI. But you're gonna love these stories because you're gonna be in them. You're gonna love these books. You're gonna be in them. You're gonna ask me questions. Ask me down below. Your question will get in a future book. Wow, that's perfect. It took me 4 videos to come up with that, to come up with that invitation. Man, well, that's good. That's, it's the call to adventure, right? Come on. You may have written books. You may have published books, right? You may have gotten stuck in a book. You maybe you finished a book, but it's not quite finished, right? Or maybe you started a book and you just have all these false starts. I did that for years, huh? And then you may have an idea for a book, but you haven't started it yet. And then, this is so long, I forget where I'm going. And then you may have, well, I know where I'm going. I'm going towards the testament. So, and that's where everybody should be going. That's how you finish a book. By the end of this week, you'll know how to finish a book. This is fun. All right. You may not even have an idea for a book. You just want to write. Or you want to know how it's done. I don't know. I don't know. Always end your statements with "I don't know." How do you put words together? Well, you use story sentences, but I don't know. So story sentences and story arcs use the same 3 parts. They answer the same 3 questions. Whether you're just talking about a situation you're in. I'm skating down the street. I gotta keep my feet moving because there's sticks on the ground. I might fall, right? I just did that without giving me a testament. How do you put words together? So I was on the wrong card for the last 2 videos. And I went over the hour mark. But that's okay. You'll forgive me for going over the hour mark. Maybe I can find something to edit out. Oh, there was that one point where I was just standing on the side of the path, waiting for the girl to go by with her dog. Okay, yes. Okay, so how do you write as bad as published writers? Right? You've read books that were published and they were bad. You didn't like them. You think the author could have done more to think about you. Ooh, that's a preview for what happens at the end of this book. This is funny. Well, because I made these questions. These questions are different from the questions and ideas questions that I normally have on my index cards for the last 100 videos. These are organizing this book. And I'm not going to go into full detail on what every question means. I don't have time for that. I want to bring you up to levels 1, 2, 3, and 3.5. I figured that out. I've leveled up Story Sentence Coach channel. It's now levels 1 through 3.5, which is awesome. There's like some attenuation. There I go with my vocabulary. I have this huge vocabulary, but I barely use it. I use it when it applies. All right. So let's see. Why don't they teach story patterns? This is an attestment of my own. The attestment question. So this question, kind of a two-part question, is what bothers you the most and what needs to change, right? And so you put this at the end of a story arc, whether it's a paragraph, whether it's a chapter, whether it's a whole book, you're putting what matters the most at the end of it. And you often use, this is the problem. The problem, this is one of the problems. This is a big problem for aspiring authors, because I've read plenty of rough drafts where there were no attachments. And I think the author was thinking, well, this is like the first chapter, or, because rough drafts sort of end up that way. Like, people will bring in the first 5 pages that they've written, and they haven't written any more than 5 pages. And so what the aspiring author is missing is the attachment, is what matters the most. And you got to set it up in a certain way by starting with the opportunity, the evaluation, and the attachment. And then when you become very good, you can have a character like Sherlock Holmes who can jump into a scene and go directly to what matters the most, because he's so smart. And you don't see that stuff coming. And until you remember what has happened in the previous part of the story, and this attachment is actually the ending of an opportunity and evaluation that occurred earlier. Arthur Conan Doyle, he was smart. He's a smart writer. All right, so I think I've covered it. Let's cover it at the story sentence level. So the story sentence level, attachment is the connection. Okay. Oh, I love this one. I have like icons I was trying to design. The last icon was the profile of a head. It looks like I took it off the quarter, and then there's arrows pointing at the back of the head and arrows pointing forward. And what that means is like everything in your life is leading up to this moment. Everything. Anything could pop out depending on the situation, right? I'll let that settle in. Okay. And so I just use vocabulary and nonchalant as if it just comes up. So then, so depending on the situation. And so your character will feel the strongest emotion to think something. They can't help but think it. they'll say something, they can't help but to speak it, because everything in their life is leading up to this one moment. Their evaluation is, that's it. That's what I'm here for, right? And then that sets up everything going forward. And that's how the testing works. It's what matters the most and what needs to change. I'll see you later. This is the end of part 4. See you in part 5. Who knows what that's gonna be. I wanted to add this one in. I gotta do previews because this is a 20-part video series. Who's gonna click on something that says part 17? Maybe I should hide that in the description. I think I should do that. That's it. That's it. So you're gonna learn. Oh, and then you're learning things here that aren't, they're under the surface, right? I'm writing this book. Where? I'm writing it on YouTube, right? I am giving you guys the chance to decide, well, do I want to buy this book? This is fun. Yeah, definitely. Because I love having a book in my hand that I can page through and I can find those parts that matter to me the most. See you later.